Hi there, Joka here, and today I'm sharing this card duo that I created with the Spellbinders March Small die kit. So these are the dies included in the kit. This says Spring has sprung. And then these two pieces, if you've been a subscriber for a while, then you will know this type of thing. You will have to die cut those several times to create a frame, which I will show you in a second. And this one is the clear stamp set kit of the month of March. And yeah, I don't have any Easter themed scrapbook supplies, so I bought this 6x8 paper pad from Simple Stories. I thought that I could use some of these for I don't know, for backgrounds or building some layers here. So my plan for the first card was to use the clear stamp just in black and to stamp it on pattern paper. So with this kind of patterns, like this plaid pattern or whatever you want to call it, I'm always trying to be mindful. I try to center it because I don't like, for some reason, if there was white on the left and green on the right, something would feel off balance to me. So I always try to make sure that the pattern is centered. Okay, so now I'm just building a background with the 3 bunny stamps that are included in the stamp set. And I'm using Alt New Obsidian ink for this one, which, as you see, creates a big mess, but it is, I think, my favorite black ink at the moment. So yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but at the bottom 2 bunnies that I first stamped, I did not press very hard on the stamping tool, so they are not as dark as the other ones. So I will come back to those. I was actually very worried because I normally, this is dangerous. It can happen that you don't line it up properly, and then your whole stamping is ruined. But really, I was so surprised. I actually managed to do all 3. Well, I mean, there's no blurs or double lines or nothing. So okay, I felt like there were big empty spaces between the bunnies, so I'm using some of the little floral images that are also in the stamp set to fill up these spaces. But you will see later that I really shouldn't have done this. But I'm not big on planning, and at this point I had no idea where this card is gonna take me. So yeah, this was an unnecessary step in retrospect, but I guess this is how we learn. But this is normally how I would create a pattern background. Stamp the bigger images first and then fill up with smaller ones like this, because somehow I always like a really full pattern. Yeah, but I mean, you can totally skip that step. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out what papers to use with it because I need to create layers. I cannot live without layers. But none of those papers, I didn't like any of them, so I just go with some Alexandra Danke papers here, kind of tone-on-tone look. And this one is a Spellbinders die, just some basic circles. And this is what I always do when I don't know what to do with a card. So I just die cut some layers of circles from different pattern paper, and then at least I have a focal point on my card. And back to this Simple Stories paper pad, I did not mean that I did not like the papers. I just did not like the colors with, with what I imagined. I wanted to kind of create a monochromatic look, I think. And I set that aside because I had no idea how to finish it. So I'm moving on to my next card in the meantime. And for this, I die cut this shape. You need it 4 times to create a frame, and then 2 of those pieces that link them together. And then it's close to the A2 size. I think it wasn't exactly A2. So I'm creating now my A2 top folding card base, and for this I'm using another Simple Stories paper, which I found really like fun and colorful. Yeah, so I die cut these pieces twice, once from a also a Simple Stories pattern paper, a pink one with some small pattern on it, and then also from white cardstock. Normally I would die cut this probably 1 or 2 more times to create a dimensional piece, but I was not up for it this day. Sometimes I'm just, now that I already know how long it takes to glue everything, and it's such a, I don't know, I don't like to do this. So now that I know what I can expect, I just don't do it. You could use these adhesive papers, right, where you glue it to the cardstock and then die cut it. But I always forget, and I actually do have some. I recently bought some, but I think because for years I had to make do without, I just forget that I have it. And those actually give some more dimension as well, so you don't need 4 layers, for example. But like I said, I forgot it. So I'm now assembling everything, and I used my ruler to make sure that everything was lined up properly. But then in the end, I'm still going to adhere it down crooked, like, always. But it is what it is. Handmade project has to happen, right? And by the time I added all the glue all over the die cut, some parts already dried, so I have to add some more glue here at least at the edges. I don't need to glue everything down. That, I think, just gives a bit more interest to it, but the edges I like to have fixed. Okay, and this is another set of Spellbinders die, these ovals that I use all the time. So I'm going with the smaller one, and I will add a bunny to that one with one of the stems. And these tiny flowers also come in the kit. These are actually the same flowers that are on the background panel, but I'm not sure if I think I also used the big one. Only these 3 small ones that you see in my hand now are part of the background, and then the bigger one is not, but I'm also using that one to add more flowers. And I'm die cutting, so these are 4 flowers. I'm die cutting these 4 from a variety of colors: yellow, kind of like a peachy orangey color, then blue and purple, I think. And I'm trying to shape them with my hands. I don't have any tools to shape the flowers, and they are tiny. You can see in my hands they are tiny, and yeah, not so easy to shape them. But yeah, I just kind of as you can see, I don't even know how to explain what I was doing there, but I just bent up the petals a little bit, basically. And now I'm gluing everything down, it just in a random kind of arrangement. Just try to make sure that the colors are scattered all over the background, so they are not next to each other. So this is the money I'm using for my oval. And I will be honest, another mistake that I did here, I did not plan with a sentiment at all. I finished the card and I was taking photos of it just to see if everything is okay. And then I'm like, oh my God, there's no sentiment. So I did not really have space for it. So you will see what I'm gonna do with it. I am not in love with the result, but I think it's gonna have to do. So okay, I'm adding some foam tape to this, again, just so it pops, off the card. And this one is also in the same Simple Stories collection. I really love these enamel dots, these pastel colors. I generally am not into pastel colors, but I think for Easter they are perfect. So I'm using the smallest size enamel dots for the center of the flowers, for all of them actually. So I'm gonna be using quite a lot here. And this also gave me an idea to finish my first card, which you will see soon. Yeah, so basically there are things, I don't know if that ever happens to you. There are things that I don't notice when I'm working on. It could be also a layout, not just cards. It happened several times that I take a photo and even then I don't notice that's something wrong with it. But when I'm editing the photo, I notice things. So luckily this I noticed right away, that there's no sentiment. And also I don't have any Easter related sentiments, only the stamp that came in this month clear stamp kit. So there's actually a really cute sentiment in that, which I really wanted to use, but then I ended up using something else. So again, adding some heavyweight cardstock to the backs of these because I wanted the foam tape to not be visible, although I'm only adding that to the smaller circle. And here I'm adding some liquid adhesive to my sentiment. I really love that these are at an angle, and I really like the font. So yeah, first when I saw the sentiment, when you see the dies first and you cannot really tell what they are, the two, like spring and sprung, they looked so similar. I actually thought that accidentally I got two of the same dies, but then I realized that it was a different word, but they are almost the same size. I was just a bit confused. Okay, so for the first layer, I just added some glue, not foam tape, and then for the second, I added foam tape. So here's what I did not plan in the beginning, is that I added some flowers, and these are gonna cover up most of the stem flowers, which is why I said in the beginning that I didn't need to do that. Originally I wanted to do with a monochromatic card, but then colors, I don't know, I prefer colors, so I thought this would be a fun addition to the card. And I will also add some enamel dots to these, but I became stingy with them because you saw that there were 2 packs. I actually bought 3 packs, but from these 2 packs I already used almost all the tiny, the smallest size. And yeah, I didn't want to start the third package as well, so I just added them here and there. But I think that's enough. And again, I'm going to finish with a twine bow. Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know why I do this, but I think I add twine to like 90% of my cards, maybe. I don't know. Maybe one day I get tired of it. And this is where I noticed, I mean, this part of the video I actually had to add later. And I'm stamping a sentiment onto a pattern paper, which is a very light aqua kind of color. I didn't want to use the same white as the bunny is, but you cannot really tell here that it's a different color. And I didn't quite like it, so I tried if I could add spring somehow. So this kind of doesn't make sense, spring Easter greetings, but you know, then I got it down to spring greetings. Although I liked the longer, the look of the longer sentiment, but it just did not make any sense. So yeah, I just trimmed it off. So yeah, this is it. Both cards are now done. I hope you like it. It's a bit different style for me than my usual style, but I enjoyed making these anyway. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.